Good morning, good people. You're watching Broadsy Entertainment. I am joined with my main man, Nicky New. And Nicky, how are you today, first of all, bro?
I'm well, mate. I'm well. Good to see you, bro. How are you?
All blessed, bro. All blessed. Feeling good. Obviously, everyone's battling some sort of cold at the minute. I think I got a slight head cold. Um, Other than that, it's just you got to crack on, really. Do you know what? I'm a lot better than I used to be when I was young. When I was a lot, when I was a bit, I say younger, but back in my old days, whenever I'd feel like a little bit off, a little bit groggy, I would just jump in my bed, boy, and just feel sorry for myself. But you can't be doing that now. Bills to be paid, and
I
y-
don't
y-
get colds, man. I can't remember the last time I had a cold. I don't get ill. I touch wood, obviously, but I don't get
mm.
ill, bro. I can't remember the last time I was ill.
Lucky you, bro. Lucky you.
Very
Y-
lucky.
Very lucky
Like
you.
no head cold. When people say head cold, and that, I've never.
No idea, no, no
I don't know
idea.
what's going on.
Mm. Okay, guys. So today normally I like to be all structured and stuff today, but today, like this is gonna be called a bro talk, guys. And it's just gonna be men talking about we got one or two topics that we wanted to bring up. We got to start with England the other day. England versus Senegal. I was just telling my main man Nicky over here that I think we scored an early goal, and I thought certainly this was gonna be like a 3 or 4 nil easy. So I went and put a bet down on England to win score. All they had to do was score 3 goals, and I would have tripled my money up. And I went a little bit heavy on it as well. So it's quite upsetting, to be honest with you. Um,
But you also said three or four football conversations ago
yep.
about these African players in the Premier League.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
you did draw attention to their athleticism, speed, desire. You know, all these things that are really important in the game. And I think we saw that last night in abundance. I thought they were absolutely brilliant.
Yep, for sure.
Senegal. You know, their Kyle Walker. He did not think that man was going to get to that ball on the first goal. He did not. He just gave up. And at international level,
Mm,
I don't know how you go ahead and do that. Then on the second goal, we've got caught again down the flanks, haven't we? And
yep.
he's put it through the keeper's legs. I
Yep.
mean, have we got a better goalkeeper than that?
That was. I think the last goal. I think like that was just the end of the like it was literally the last kick of
Yeah,
the
yeah, but
game,
it's
and
still, is that an excuse, though, Brad? Sorry, mate, but I'm looking at that last goal. Yeah, we're chasing back in half the team's chasing back because we're
yeah,
not there.
yeah.
And then again, you've got these lads who run the 100 meters in sub 11 seconds, taking the mickey out of us. And there was a queue of them waiting to put that ball in. And they were celebrating that game as if they'd won the African Cup of Nations and each goal as well. It was
Well,
mad.
well, that's the first time an African team has beaten England.
It
To be
is.
fair, yeah,
Congratulations to them.
yeah. Fair play to them as well. Fair play to them. Senegal, the first team to beat first African team to beat England. So they made history. They made
Well
history.
done, Senegal.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, just other, for me though, like I'm not going to read too much into the game. For me, the players look like they don't want to be there. The players look like they're on holiday already. They've had a long season, a lot of them, a lot of midweek football, a lot of stress, and sometimes we do forget with footballers that they are. This is their job. Like this is their job. It's not their life. It's their job. And I feel like a lot of them, just looking at them, just look like they're shattered and they just want to be on the beach, because it's not long before the Premier League starts again. It's the end, literally the end of the month, isn't it? So,
True, but I do think they get 100 grand each for playing for England, don't they? And it's also represent your country as well. Like they've got to bring that into it. I mean, bloody hell, Brud.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
What?
like they'll be retired when they're 40, unless they're like Ronaldo. So they'll look back on these days
Yep.
with fond memories, I'm sure. But they should have been better than that last night. I think whether you're tired or not, there's no excuses for a disgraceful performance at home like that.
Yeah,
Tuchel should be reprimanded for
yeah.
his bowling things. And
What did you think of Kane's performance?
he bagged another goal. He's got another tap in. We got Fizzo in the house. He loves his football, by the way, Fizzo. Hello, Fizzo, mate.
Is it Fizzo or Fizo?
Fizzo. It's Fizzo if you know him well. It's
Oh,
Fizzo if you don't know him.
okay, Fizzo. Shout out to you, bro. We're just having a little bro talk at the minute over here, so it's just like an open chat. And where were we? Sorry, what are you talking
We're
about?
just discussing England. Fizzo's also a football fan as well. We talk about football a lot, and I'm just disgusted with the performance last night. I know it doesn't mean anything, but it's still a home defeat
Yeah.
to a team that you should be beating. You know, there was a time, Brad, where you're playing Senegal when you're younger and you're thinking 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, 7. You know, not
Yep.
now, not
Yeah.
anymore.
Nah. And do you know what's different as well? a lot of these African players are playing in Europe now, so they've got that extra bit of experience playing at high levels, like
Yeah,
and as I've been saying, like to you, like for weeks now, like what Man United need, we need that athleticism, like we need those
yeah,
monsters
yeah,
in the game, and you could just see, like when you play a game and you play a game against someone that's just as big as you, stronger than you, and faster than you as well, for that matter, it becomes a very tricky game, and especially when you add the fact that these guys are playing now more systematic towards a more European style of football with their assets, their physical assets, like then it kind of makes them a bit of a formidable like an opponent, So
it does. And when you look at the footage on the internet of these African people playing football when they're young, man,
yeah,
on the
yeah,
street, and you look at some of the skill levels that you see and
yeah,
the celebrations of putting the ball through someone's legs or the celebration of flicking the ball over someone's head or making someone fall over, this all equates
yeah,
to great skills on the pitch and a great
yeah,
touch on the pitch as well.
yeah. Yeah, we're mad for it. We're absolutely mad for it in England. Like we just love we love the passion. So when we do see those little kids playing, sometimes they're playing barefoot, sometimes they're playing in those little sandal things that they wear. Like there's so much passion and there's so much like the way they sort of prioritize the skill and the
Yeah.
entertainment side of the game as well. Like it is admirable to look at and stuff and see. Um, but yeah, England. What can we say? Give the guys a break. What can we do?
Yeah, Fizo says Fizo, or Fizo, I like to call him because I know him well. Football has recently changed for good. Smaller teams now have players playing in Europe. He agrees with what we're saying there, and it's really good to see. And they're not just taking back the systems and the things we're speaking about; they're also taking back the experience of
Of course.
the sports science, the dieting, the coaching, and learning. And
That's it.
I'd like to think as well they're passing on experience of how to play football in a relaxed fashion as well, like
Yeah.
from where they're coming from. A bit
Yep.
stiff upper lip over here, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And a man to man, that they can all match you. They can match you.
Yeah,
And
easy.
this is the kind of thing where you see Harry Kane and you think, "Ooh, does he?" I know he scored his goal. He always gets like a token sort of goal now and then, Harry Kane. But it doesn't in the big games. It doesn't ever seem to influence the outcome of the game. Like and that's happened a lot with England. Like he's either got a goal that's not really meant nothing against one of those useless teams out there. He obviously he suits German football very well because, as we all know, it's not the same as the Premier League. Like players can look like superstars out there. They come to the Premier League, nah, you forget about it, mate. It's a totally different ball game. Every single week you're facing a team that could give you a game. If you're not on your A game, you're gonna lose it. Like and just look at Man United, look at Tottenham, look where we are. Like we haven't been on our A game, and you see where we are.
England is a mentality thing, in my opinion. You have to go back to Euro '96 versus Holland, where we really mullered a team in a tournament, and
Mm,
then Germany 5-1. After
yeah,
that, in the famous Gerard, Heskey, whatever it was,
yeah,
I can't remember now, but you have to go far back. When we played against Italy in that final, I'm still fuming about that game. I'm
mm,
still fuming that Grealish wasn't playing. And I'm still fuming at Gareth Southgate for dominating that first half of football and not having the bottle to kick on, score two, three more goals. And just going back to your point about Harry Kane, this is Brod.
mm,
The reason why he doesn't get more goals is because in the system that he's been playing, we scored at one and we bottle jobs.
yeah, yeah.
Bottle jobs.
I,
We
I
haven't.
want to, yeah. I'm sorry. I want to say as well. Watching the game yesterday, it kind of looked like Man United, mate. It was so slow. It was so slow, like, and everything was back, like, and for the life of me, Saka, he didn't have the best game, but every time he got the ball, like you're expecting him just to bomb on and take the full back on. This is what I say to you all the time. Like it drives me mental when when an attacking winger receives the ball. He's got time to run at the fullback, and he decides to pass the ball back on a slow switch. There was way too much passing back to the defense. I can't stand it. Like it just makes me just makes it. And just watching Man United all season. That's all we've been doing, giving the ball to Harry Kane, giving the ball to Anana, and then the ball watching them. Like most of our game, like the Anana and Harry and Kane and Maguire, sorry, are having most of the touches. It's painful, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely
yeah, yeah.
painful to watch.
England have got a lot of work to do, mate. A lot of work to do.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I think,
Looks like we got taken a few steps back. To be honest with you, we
yeah,
look like
yeah,
we
I
was
reckon,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, two finals. We was on the right path. But
Mm.
okie dokie. What was the next topic of conversation? I know you had
No,
something. You had a bee in your bonnet, didn't you, about something?
well, not being a bonnet, no, not really. I was just making some comments on a show I saw of yours the other day.
Okay.
and it come up in my feeds, and
Mm.
you had this lady on your feeds,
Yes, sir.
and I thought, we could talk about some of this OnlyFans stuff and some of the mentalities that we endure in this day and age, where when we were younger, these things were non-existent. And on the show that I saw, it was brilliant, by the way. So well done to you. And if anyone hasn't watched that, it was Brud C. Would you remind me, telling the name of the lady? She had blonde hair, quite
Yeah.
long blonde hair.
She's the lovely
What
star,
was?
the lovely star with the £100,000 backside.
Yeah, so her name was Star Brud, and she was a guest of yours. And I thought, I'd sit down and watch it. And I remember thinking, wow, I think she would hate someone like me, just as a normal person, because I simply don't have enough money to talk to her, sort of thing, even
Mm.
as just as a person, right? And I was wondering to you, was it, because I haven't had time to read all the comments and all that because I've been a bit busy, Brad. But what's been the reaction of that show that you done with Star?
It's been toxic. Let's just say, absolutely toxic.
Really?
Absolutely toxic. Most men have said plastic bimbo, no morals, rinsed out. It's been quite negative, let's just say. And I had a word of her, and I spoke to her, and she was like, "Nah, I'm not interested." Like, she hasn't got time to listen to what people have to say about her. Like, and that's probably the best way to be, especially if you're on social media. Like, because some people, it breaks them. Like, if you say something horrible to them. Like, and I have worked with loads of women before where they just they just lose the plot basically when they start getting negative criticism. So to her credit, she was like, I couldn't give a fuck what they think,
I was wondering, say if she had a choice between, I don't know, let's say a very good looking man um, who's got a nice physique, or whatever, um, goes to the gym,
Yep.
looks like a model. Let's say a guy that who looks like he's in the Versace aftershave advert, sort of thing, right?
Yes, sir.
Or and do excuse me if you've asked her this already, but a guy, let's say, who was in his 60, 65, who was the opposite of that in terms of, say, physicality and youth and all that, but he would be able to ply her with Louis Vuitton or whatever.
Yeah, she's taking the gold every day of the week, mate. And what some this is the thing. This is the thing. There's women in now, on social media, women are being sought after and men are throwing things at them. And there are women out there that get Burger King money, get Nando's money and give up the sex for a night in a hotel or whatever. And then there's women that know their value, basically. Like, when that sounds horrible when I say know their value, but I mean they class themselves way higher. So, like, for a woman like that, you got to take her to a lovely restaurant. You got to spend a lot of money on her.
Well, I wouldn't. I expect her to pay for me, if I'm honest. I mean, I would expect her to pay everything, yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm the opposite of her. You see, I'm I've got no money, right, and I'm a nice guy, but I expect a woman to pay for everything.
Well,
At the moment, well, I'll sort my music out.
yeah, no, no. I mean, the main thing is ambition. Like, I've spoken to a lot of women, and they will look after a guy. They won't do it long term, but they will look after a guy if they see you trying and they see you trying to do something, trying to make something of yourself.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
when you're like, it's when you're just bumming and just chilling,
Scrub.
not doing
When you're a
nothing.
scrub, yeah, when you're
Yeah,
a
when you're
scrub.
doing nothing. At least that dream and that vision that everybody has of what they want to achieve, that's more powerful than a 9 till 5 job. My thing's always been like, for a long time, I was self-employed since I was like 20 years old, self-employed right up to about 35.
Hmm.
And I was doing loads of businesses. I had loads of stuff going for myself, but then I was too kind and I made mistakes in business. Maybe went down the wrong alleyways, went down a few bad alleyways once or twice, and it cost me ultimately, and I had to start again. So even though I still had my vision, I weren't just like, oh, I'm just gonna stick to my vision. I was like, oh, let me do a little
Fair play.
side. Let,
Good
let
on
me
you.
do a
Good on
let
you.
me do a little side something. Do a little side something so I can guarantee some sort of money coming in, and then let me still
Come on,
go for
bro.
my vision as well, sort of thing. Because
Come on.
you have to. I feel like you have to kind of try and do that. You can't just say I'm going for my vision, my dream, and that's it, sort of thing. I feel like because obviously you got to eat, you got to drink. It's expensive. Like life's hard now, so you can't really afford to do that. Some people
I
can.
do, I do. I mean, but I've got no one else to look after. I've got no children or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But I just relentlessly pursue my dream.
You
Yeah.
know that there's nothing wrong with that. If you, I mean, as long as you're able to physically lock after yourself, you're
Yeah,
able to eat
just
and
about,
stuff.
mate. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I need a. That's why I need your mate to come and look after me. I need her money.
Yeah. Yeah. But there are women out there that I feel like there are women out there that will look. There's a lot of women out there that will look after a man, 100%. There's women. What women are finding at the minute is women are having these sort of expectations of everything. Basically, they think they can live their life, do their thing, have all these hoe phases, have all these holidays, sleep around, do all this mad stuff, and they hit. By the time they know it, they're 40 years old, and no guy's taking them serious. They can get sex. Even a woman 50 stones, a 50 stone woman can get sex. It's never been hard for women to get sex, and this is those 40 to 50 and even 60-year-old women now that are looking for something have said to themselves, you know what? I would kind of like if they're able to, they will look after a guy if he's gonna take them seriously, and not just use them for sex. They will go for that. So that there's 100% a market for that. So it's there, but it's just waiting for them. The penny drops eventually for a lot of these women, and I speak to them, and they're like, "Damn shit, yeah, I wasted a lot of my good years."
In nature, as you know, it's normal for a woman to look for protection. So I fully understand that it's normal in most nature, right?
Mm.
In fact, I do remember seeing a documentary of this guy who I think his name was Robert Winston. He might be a psychologist of some kind, right? And what he did, he approached women dressed in a certain way, right? And he was wearing not very nice clothes. His beard wasn't trimmed and all this, and he hadn't really made an effort. And he was asking these ladies to score him out of 10. And it was like 1 out of 10, two, 2 out of 10, shambles, look at him, right? They sent him off. They put him in a nice Scarface suit, brud. Okay. They got his beard done sweet and crisp, like your Chris lines up here, right? And all the Chris lines up here. I got him done nice with his hair,
Mm.
got his hair done and everything. Nice shirt. They put a watch on him, brud. It was cost about $5,000. He's got nice shoes on now, Valentino shoe and all this, right? And they went back to the same women. I think one said 11, one said 10, and one said 9 because he wasn't fucking 6'5" or something.
Yeah.
But he explained it with that's like innate in women to look for protection. And some of that can equate to money. A lot of it can equate to fighting. That's why, and you know all this anyway. This ain't no schooling session. This is bro conversation. You know this anyway. That's why a lot of these fighting men, when we're younger, think back to the fighting men, can pick up not all the best girls, but
Yeah.
you're surprised and you go, what?
The
Why?
the bad boys.
Yeah, the bad boys. Yeah, you know. So there's that as well. So I sort of understand why women might just want the money, but I do worry for women like that because it could end up in unhappiness as well. Because you think some of the guys might get fed up down the line, and then
They do a
and they
thousand
see
percent.
and they see someone a bit younger as well, and they think, well, and you think, oh, I wonder if she'll still have the same pull when she doesn't sort of look like that. And that's why I think actually I don't want to be a romantic here, but I'd rather be with someone proper like that I really like the personality as well, because at some point inevitably you got to love that person. I think because it's going to run out.
Yep.
Looks,
And
looks will run out.
yeah, for sure. And are these women in their 40s to 50, there's a lot of these single women, 40 to 50, they look fine.
Yeah,
They look real good. I'm not
yeah,
gonna
I
lie.
believe so. Yeah,
They look real good. I see them
yeah,
on Instagram all the time.
yeah. Good
They look
looking women.
real good.
Yeah,
And but still, they don't have the pull that they think that they used to have. They've got
no,
the
no,
pull
no.
to get
It's gone. It's
they've
gone.
got the pull to get the sex, but
Yeah,
to get that wealthy man that's good looking and stuff like to take them sort of women serious for a relationship, it's going to be very difficult. And one of the main thing is there's a lot of hate at the minute for men going with younger women. There's a lot of hate for it. But when you think about it, purely on just on a practical level, because obviously you want to have kids and stuff like that, and having kids with women in their 40s is quite a dangerous thing. Like, autism is very high, and once a woman gets in that 40 stage, like, and all sorts of other complications, and that's even if a woman's even still got fertile eggs at that age as well. So men are choosing to go with younger women for that reason as well, and they don't want a woman with miles on the clock, so to speak, as well, for their serious wifey, sort of, and a lot of women really struggle with that. They struggle with the concept of understanding why a man doesn't want them. Yes, you look fine, but you're 40 years old and you just don't have the pull of a 20-year-old anymore. And you can say to that
I
guy,
mean,
go for it.
sorry, bro. I mean, I would probably choose a 40-year-old woman over a 20-year-old, but if they were both, say, fairly attractive, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, because a lot of the younger ones, they're happy-go-lucky young people, and their brains is, let's say, in a different place, and rightly so. That young, free, and having fun, or whatever they're feeling up there. But
Yeah.
I find, at least with women, say beyond like 32, 33, you can actually have a nice chat as well, or you can actually socialize better.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I think the younger ones, like, they just want to mess around with the girly mates and do these silly things, which is all great, and you'd expect that. But if I had a choice in an actual relationship right now at my age, and I'm mid-40, yeah, I know I don't look at everyone. I know I look at 20 years
Hmm.
younger than that, but I can't help being good looking as well as poor. At least I'm good looking and poor. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm joking, but no, you get my point, right? I ain't got loads of money, but if I was in a situation, Brud, where I would have those two age groups, I would definitely go more towards the maturer one
Yeah,
at my age. At my age, yeah.
this is what this. I mean, so that's not me saying that. This is what the men of the value are saying, like the men with
Oh, yeah,
serious value.
yeah.
So if you have to imagine, if you're, say, you're your age now, you're 40 years old,
Are
you're
they
worth.
settling down, or are they just talking sex? What are they talking
No,
about?
but do you know, this is the thing as well. This is the thing as
Because for
well.
sex, it's usually like you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but
the younger girls. Yeah, the younger girls.
they look better,
Yeah,
mate.
I mean, guys will take it, like, guys will take what they can get. But the more higher your value is, you'll get more options. And until a 20-year-old throws herself at you and you're worth like 40 million, you're worth £5 million, even £1 million, like you're set financially and stuff, like, those guys are choosing the younger girls to settle down with, because what they're saying is these Western women in their 40s, they're kind of almost punishing them for living their lives, having all these life experiences. And one of the big things as well, they say, like, a lot of these women come with trauma. Like, a lot of them come with trauma and things that you're going to have to repair. Like, an average, what like, realistically, an average woman in her ladies, don't jump on me. I'm just speaking like in general terms to chill chat. Don't jump on me. Don't come for me, because I know you lot are going to come for me later. But they are saying women of a certain age, if they're single for a reason. Either they're hard work, or, because if you see a beautiful, attractive woman and you think, why on earth is she single at 40 years old? Like, sometimes it's not their fault. And I will say this, ladies, there's vicious men out there that end up spoiling a relationship and, being violent. And then the woman has no choice to get away from them. But what tends to happen in that case anyway is they end up finding the same guy over and over again, violent guy. And then there's a lot of women that have been suffered with that. It's not their fault, but the men out there of high value, they won't choose those women to settle down with. They just won't. They just won't. And they're not, to be very fair, those men of high value now, they're saying, you know what? They're realizing that their strength, their pulling power of what they got. If you've got money, you don't have the same rules. You can have a wifey and say, right, you're not my only woman. I'm allowed to have other women as well. But this is what they're doing. This
True
is
is
literally
true.
what they're
You
doing.
can't blame them, but it won't end well. But you can't blame them. You know what I mean? But you
No,
know,
no.
and I think women's attitude sometimes, some of these women like that you had on your show is probably pushing a lot of blokes into behaving like that when they reach that level, because they're probably looking at things like that and thinking, well, I'll spin her around, I'll spend a few quid on her and her and her, and
Yeah.
I'll have a lot of them. Mate.
That's it. And can you blame a guy for doing that? For imagine a guy that's weren't good with getting, most of these guys, if this is the case,
Yeah, they
anyway,
never used to get women.
they never used to get women. They never used to get women. They're not used to getting women. So they busted their gut. They used to being nobody, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden they make
yeah,
money. They've
yeah.
got a nice car. They've got a nice house. Now all of a sudden they're a
Well,
catch,
that's
and
the
they have a
thing.
bit of resentment though. They still have resentment, and it's like they're like they're in a candy shop. They're like,
Yeah,
they're just like
yeah,
ripping rappers.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so so these guys are like blood. They're in a blood feud at the minute. They're just like ripping rappers up and just
yeah,
tasting this chocolate,
yeah,
tasting that chocolate,
yeah.
and you ain't telling that guy that's been dealt
No,
with rejection all his
no,
life,
that's right.
you know.
All you can eat buffet for the guy
Yeah,
who's been rejected, and that's the thing. I mean, if you've had no sort of experience with women, I think that would be a really tough situation to be in now.
yeah,
You know, I'm certainly no sleep around by any stretch of the imagination, but I've had experience with women, obviously, Brad, like yourself. You know, we've not been. You know, a lot of these guys, when you hear them talking, it's like they never
yeah,
even went with women when they were 18 or 19 or 20, and you think, bloody hell, mate. So
mate.
it was only till
Jesus,
you got money and then women like that
this is
blonde
it.
girl who actually
This is it.
started giving up the pum pum for you.
Exactly. And you know, I've told this story before. Like, you know, when I was younger, I was dead broke. I never had nothing. I had the worst clothes out of my friends. My friends had all the good calms, all the good trainers. And I remember I had trainers once with my big toe hanging out, bro. And me and two of my friends, one of them's like, both of them are kitted out, brand new trainers, chains on, and you got me with like a £5 outfit on, probably including my shoes. And who got the girl? Me. Who
Brad
got the
C.
girl? Come on, man. Who got the girls?
Brad
Like, you know,
C.
I would just go in. And the thing about it is, it's confidence. If you've got confidence, it's like confidence is like a chemical drug that's sort of like it's sort of transmissible as well. Like, you know, you can just like if you're like it's so weird. Like if you're on the right vibe, you can literally go up to a woman at a bus stop and say, "You're right, sexy," and and if you do it right, if you're confident enough, you can have that woman in the alleyway in 2 seconds, mate.
Yeah, but then you can also get punched in the boat as well.
No, for sure. Everything is consensual, but I'm just saying everything is consensual. But I'm just saying
Funny.
if you've got the right
Yeah.
confidence, you can get like most men have it. Most men have never in their lifetime thought, okay, I've seen a hot woman, I'm gonna go up to her and I'm gonna speak to her for a couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna bang her in an alleyway. Most men have never done that before. Most men never had that confidence.
Yeah.
And especially now with social media, bro. Social media's taking it to the
Oh,
next.
mate.
So you don't even have to walk down the road.
Well, I usually go for the ones that chat me up. Yeah, I let them chat me up, right? And I just pick the best one
Mm,
out of the ones that chat me up. That's how I do it. I ain't
yeah,
waste. You know, at the end of the day, mate, I've got nothing to offer apart from a nice body and a good looking face. So
yeah. No,
I
but
just think,
I think you have to. I think guys have to sort of like you know, it's hard. It's hard, you know, to give confidence to people. Confidence, like this young generation as
yeah,
well.
it's harder for these lot
It's
now. Yeah,
even harder, like because
it's really hard.
now everything's social media. They'll be a girl can live around the corner, whereas back in our day we'd have no choice other than
Yeah,
to
you have to
go
chat
out,
to them. You have to
hang
chat to them. Yeah,
around,
yeah,
and just try put yourself in their sort of
yeah,
space, like or knock
yeah,
the door, like you know.
yeah,
Nowadays, these lot are like swiping. They're not used to
yeah.
any physical face-to-face
Really weird, man. I
interactions.
find it weird.
Yeah, but it's a crazy phenomenon that we can't even comprehend because it wasn't even like back in our day. No one had phones, like you know,
That's right.
like
That's why birth rates are going down. All of these things accumulate for me for birth rates going down. All of it, you know, the
yeah,
culture and that. Because personally, I don't like the culture of online dating. I'd just rather talk to a person,
yeah.
you know, or like I say, you know, let someone catch
Yeah,
um,
it's
your eye or whatever.
it's hookup culture, and I feel like that's one of the things that this hookup culture is destroying the dating market.
Weird.
It's destroying the dating because you know you can like you know you've got women, and I know some of these women that are so lonely they will just swipe and get some random man to come round, basically. And this becomes once you do that once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. How long before you find a psycho that starts treating you like shit? Like you know I don't know. Do you think? It's a question I'll put to you. Do you think a woman that sleeps around is going to be okay mentally? Like a woman that sleeps around. Do you think she's going to have like she's not going to have any sort of psychological problems when she sleeps around with random men?
I don't know, mate. I think that's an individual thing because at the end of the day, humans like sex, and humans are entitled to sex, in my opinion, if they want to have it in their own, you know, free
Yeah,
time or whatever to enjoy their bodies.
yeah,
And I think we've also got to bring into the equation that since the contraceptive pill came in the 70s, it definitely gave women a new sense of empowerment, and rightly so. And I'm glad about those sorts of things. There's many positive things that can be said about that, and I'm sure there'll be people who would say negative things against
Yeah.
that. But I think overall, I think it's definitely changed women for the more positive, and they're different now. Back to your question, Brod. I don't know, and then can I just ask a question back to clarify?
Yeah.
When you say sleep around, are you talking about someone who quietly enjoys sex here and there? Are you talking about someone who has a different guy every night? Are you talking about someone who has 10,000 on the record? What are you talking about?
I would say if for me to describe a woman that sleeps around is, let's just say a woman that sleeps with more than 5 people a year. Does that sleeps with, a woman that sleeps with more than 5 people a
I'd
year?
have
Let's just say that.
nothing against a woman sleeping with 5 people a year.
No, but that's what I would class as sleeping around.
It's fair enough. Like, it's fair enough, but I personally would have no problem with that if that
Yeah.
was what they decided to do. If it was 50, I'd raise an eyebrow, right? But
How much would be too much? If you said 50, but realistically, say like you met a woman, you spoke to her, you got to know her a little bit, and then she said to you, right, there's there's 52 weeks in a year. 50, 52, 52, is it 52 weeks in a year? I think that's right. Yes, there is.
52, yeah.
Yeah, it's 52 weeks in a year, and she slept with 30 people last year. What would you say?
I'd
That's
say
fair
that's
enough.
a bit strong. I mean, I if she was attractive, I may say, well, would you like 31? I'd put myself
Yeah,
forward,
but
but
would you take us? Would you be able to take a woman
probably
like
not.
that serious
Well,
for a relationship?
I, I probably wouldn't, Brad, because I'd expect her just to sleep, like,
Cheat. I think a woman that sleeps around like that is going to find it very difficult to
yeah, with one guy.
she's going to find it very difficult to commit to one
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
purely because in the back of her mind she's got this culture of she's got this ability to just every other week go and sleep with a random person. And when a woman's got that, like women have the options, they know they got the options. Any woman can sleep around. Like all you have to do is start yourself a social media account, and there'll be thousands of men jumping in. You can look half decent. Like you can look. You don't even have to look decent, and there'll be men that are willing to pay you for sex, do all this sort of stuff, and you know.
I'd rather not a person who's been through all that personally. But again, I mean, I'm a little bit old school as well. But
Yeah.
what about you, Brad? Is there a number which you would deem? Is it 5 a year?
Do
Is
you
it?
know what? I don't think I could take a woman seriously. I don't think I could take a woman seriously that's sleeped around. Do you know what? I prefer a woman that's like been in relationships. If a woman's been in relationships, like been in relationship, but she was in 2 relationships, so she slept with 2 men in that year. But I don't think I could take a woman seriously that was sleeping around. I don't think you can. I don't think you could trust women like that. To be honest with you.
Yeah,
No, yeah,
I know what you're
and
saying.
especially in this day and age.
I know what you're saying, but a lot of blokes are like that as well. I
Yeah,
mean,
but women and men, if
like, are we allowed to have multiple partners?
I feel like I feel like if you sleep around as a guy, it's different when you sleep around as a woman. If a guy slept with 50 women in a year, every other week he's sleeping around with different women, he's going to be praised for that. If a woman sleeps with 52 men in a year, she's not going to be praised for that. She's going
Not
to be
anymore.
given a
Do
label.
you reckon they get praised for it? Like even now?
Well, unless you're Bonnie Blue, what she's up
No,
to.
men. I'm talking about men being doing it. Like even if you think
Yeah,
men get praised for it, even
a
now.
1,000%. These women,
But who
these women.
praises them? The men praise them, and
Men
all the
praise them
women
without
praise them.
men praise them, and women like for a guy to sleep with 50 for a guy to sleep with 50 women in a year, he's got to be very good with women. He's got to be doing something right, or he's got to be swiping enough times. There's actually it's harder for men to sleep around than it is for women to sleep around. A woman, unless she's I don't know, a woman is unless she's like of a certain ilk where she doesn't care and she'll just sleep with anyone. Like doesn't matter what they look like, she'll just sleep with them. Um, it's you. Like how many times in your lifetime has a woman just said to you like, "Yeah, look, come on, let's go do it." Like without you having to do anything. But you are a package as well, though. But like imagine an ugly guy with nothing. So a guy that's sleeping around. To my point, is going to have to be good with women. It's going to take some sort of skill to get those women, and especially to sleep with them. You know, for a
Yeah,
woman to sleep for a woman, it doesn't require no skill for a woman to sleep with a man. No, none at all. Like if the guys, if a guy's like at a certain time, a woman can go on apps and there'll be thousands of men
I don't
praying
know.
for them.
I don't know these apps, right? This is why I feel naive sometimes. I don't know these apps, mate. I don't even know them.
Yep, yep. Well,
You know
these apps. Do you know what's quite
what
interesting
happens,
about?
right? They just go on there and they just say, "Can we have sex?" Sort of thing. Is that how it works?
I think there's a matching thing. So these women, this is the thing where I think it's so dehumanizing as well. Is you can type in the height for differences as
Oh, I'm
well. So
5'8", mate, so I'm
yeah, so
fucked.
there you go. So women are going to type. So these were most a common. I think the most common search is 6 foot,
Yeah, I'm soft. Yeah,
dark hair, 6 foot, dark hair, good shape. So that rules out like near enough. That rules out near enough 90% of the men.
yeah, that's all
So
right. I mean, I'm cool with that. Yeah, I mean, if that's what they want, that's cool. But I'm 5'8", and I've got a good-looking face and a nice body, and I can dance, and I'm happy with that. But they do rule out things like that,
straight away, yeah,
which is fine. But if
yeah,
everyone wants someone who's 6 foot who looks like the guy out the advert, it's absolutely up to them. But it's
yeah.
not how it works.
No, no, but that's the guy. That this is the thing. Those are the guys that are getting all the women because all the women want those guys. But the guys, those guys, like men now, like talk about women and being empowered and stuff. Men now, especially if you look a certain type of way and you make enough money, you can have the cream of the crop. But this is what's struggling at the minute. Do you know? Very
Well,
interesting. Let me. Yeah, go on.
no, go on, no, go ahead. No, go on.
No, okay, so there's this guy. He's on TikTok and he's moved to Thailand. He works remotely, so he's moved to Thailand and he's got 2 wives.
I've seen him.
And
Yeah,
he's got 2 wives and he's bragging about it. He's enjoying life, and the men are just saying to him, "Fair play, because Western women ain't shit." And I looked in the comments, and a lot of the women were saying that they're only interested in his money. And what I wanted to say to them is, yes, they want security. Like that guy's not a millionaire. Like it used to be, a man could go to work, earn a normal job, go to work, do a normal job, and get respect from a woman. That used to be the day. Now Western women are looking at it thinking, "Nah, I don't want that guy. I want a guy that's making X X X X X." Whereas you've got these old school, you've got women in other countries. They only require a roof over their head and security. Like they only require that. They don't require all the gold and silver and cars and shopping and stuff like that. They don't require that because they're more traditional. Like, and you would
but
understand that.
I think if you gave them a taste of that, then they would very quickly require that.
Of course, that's what happens as soon as they come over here. As soon as they come here, then you got problems.
I mean, I don't mind providing for someone, Brud, right?
Yeah,
Because at some point I will make a lot of money.
yeah,
I know that. I'm just, I'm taking my time, but I would want to spend that on someone who deserves it, right? That's what I would want to do when I
yeah,
get there, because I am an old school romantic person, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And I'd be very wary about just spunking that on some 22-year-old with a nice ass who says the right thing at the right time. You've got to be
yeah,
an idiot if you're a bloke and you actually take all that on board and you think that they're actually interested in you. You've got to be a fool.
yeah.
And again, if you're going back to what you were saying before, a lot of these guys that you're talking about may not have had any success when they were a little bit younger.
Yeah.
And then it's dangerous because how many of them get divorced and have to give up half? How
Well,
many of them lose,
most people. That's the thing. That's the thing. Most men are
you
getting
know?
divorced. Most
Yeah.
marriages don't work.
All of my friends are divorced. Like a vast majority of my friends, I've watched them all get married and divorced. And that's a lot of it. It's just put me off, Brud. So many of my friends are in that situation, and luckily I've not been through that at all because I've been watching them throughout my 20s thinking, I ain't doing what you guys are doing. You're frightening me. And then I've had friends let me tell you just a really quick story, right? I had this guy and I saw him when he was about 26, 27. He was walking down this road and he was happy. You should have seen his eyes, Brad, his eyes. I was like, is he on drugs or something? He didn't half look happy. Nick, I've met the girl of my dreams. I'm going to get married. I'm this, I'm that. He was hugging me in the street and I was fucking man hugging him. I was going, fucking come on. Do you know what I mean? Right? I saw him probably 4 or 5 years later on the same road, but this time the eyes looked like he'd had a bit of Chinese genes maybe in his gene pool all of a sudden because he was looking very tired and worn out. I was like, you all right? And then he had broken up with her. She cheated. And I've seen that so many times, Brud. And I've seen examples of sort of people cheating on their partners and stuff like that. And it frightens me a little bit because I think a lot of people just settle down because they were supposed to or
Hmm.
they have to. Whereas a lot of blokes, I'm quite glad that I didn't settle down when I was younger because I've not cheated on no wife. I haven't done it, bruv, because I haven't put myself in that situation. And I'm at the age now where if I did actually meet someone, I would actually take them seriously and treat them like a queen, basically, because I'm at the
Hmm.
age now where I've got it all out of my system. I don't have to think about it like a lot of these guys who were maybe even 10 years younger than me who get this money. If I've got to get some money, I've got to, quick, like you were saying before, what is it, all you can eat buffet?
Yeah, literally candy shop.
Right. So I don't know, mate. It's just there's a lot of pressure, like you said,
Yep.
when we were chatting privately of being a bloke, but
Yeah.
a lot of it is superficial as well. I think
Yeah.
sod it, mate. If
Yeah.
that's what they want, mate, that's what they can have. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. And yeah. What are your thoughts on like taking like OnlyFans for instance? Like women that do OnlyFans. What are your thoughts on? Would you be able to settle down with a woman that does OnlyFans?
Yeah, I would because times are changing now, Brad. I think you've only got to look at how much they can earn through OnlyFans if they're prepared to work hard. If
Yep.
they're a hard-working person who's doing it and they've actually got those hard-working characteristics before they went into OnlyFans and they've got that intelligence and hard-working mentality, of course I would, because they would understand it was a business, they'd make some money out of it, whatever. And also, Brad, I think if you gave a lot of young women in this day and age a choice between sitting down in an office, and again, I'm sure you've been through this thought process, right? You've got a young, good looking woman, let's just say in between the age of 20 to 30, and she's young, good looking, still carefree or whatever, right? You can sit there for an hour on your bed and you can make 10 grand, or you can go into an office full of idiots that you don't want to spend time with every single day, bar 6 weeks a year, for the same money and earn the same money in 52 weeks that you would have done in 3 weeks. There's your choice. How can you blame a lot of young women for saying, well, that's a mugs game. I haven't got 52 weeks in a year. I'd rather have the 30 grand every 2 weeks.
Yep.
How can you blame them, really?
No, and that's what I say. You can't. The most sought after job right now is social media. Everyone wants to be a social media influencer. That's what everyone wants to do now. And if like I said, if the girls are willing
You,
to work,
can I ask the
sorry.
same question? Sorry, bro. Can I ask the same question back? Could you go with someone who was on OnlyFans as a
Well,
career?
I would have said like before I started the management and stuff like that. I would have said absolutely not. But then you meet them and then some of them are very lovely girls. There's some
Yeah, I can
vultures out
imagine. Yeah,
there's some vultures and there's some monsters out there for sure. There's some vultures and there's some monsters and there's some horrible people out there, but they probably would come in any walks of life anyway. That you need to stay clear of, for sure. But most of them, really nice girls, and I feel like you've got to be open. And also as well, like the big thing with OnlyFans is it comes down to children, because people will always throw it. What are your children gonna say when they see it, sort of thing, and that is something that people are battling with at the minute. Some women, the successful ones are saying, oh, my kids will cry in a limousine or whatever. The successful ones are saying that, but there is obviously that element towards it, and that's the only sort of sticky point, and I don't know the way around it. I
but will
think
they see it though? Like, will their children definitely see it?
not definitely, but there's always a chance for sure. But what I always say to women that do OnlyFans that do have children, I think that it is the bravest thing in the world that you can do. That you're willing to sacrifice your dignity in a way to do OnlyFans to make money and give your child the best life you can. That's the way I see it.
But do they
And
do they see it like that? Do they see it as their dignity being sacrificed?
I think most women understand that do OnlyFans. Most women understand that they're sacrificing a little bit. I
You
think
think
most
so?
women, yeah, for sure. I speak to them all the time. Like most women do know. That's why this what I've got women. I see women. I speak to women that are stunning. Stunning. Know for a fact that they would make millions of pounds in OnlyFans, but they don't want to do the sacrifices required to do it. So that's sort of giving up the dignity part, sort of. But there's also a lot of resentment also because it's like you said, they're in their job, where earning their 30 grand a year, knowing that they could be making millions of pounds. Even to the point of most men don't realize that they are there's this big thing at the minute where men, as there people say, men are jealous of women because they're doing OnlyFans, making all this fast money. Like most women don't make money on OnlyFans. They
Yeah,
don't make enough
exactly,
money.
exactly.
It's like the 10%. It's like the top 10. It's like top 3%. I think top 3% earn top 3% earn, I think it's anywhere between $3,000 and $4,000 a month. That's top 3%. And there's over like 5 million creators. So only 3% of them are even making $3,000 a month.
Well,
So,
I'm on OnlyFans, mate. Yeah,
oh yeah, okay,
I've
so.
got a queue of women on my OnlyFans longer than the River Thames, bro. Right? I can't get them out of my bloody DMs, but I don't know how to use it. They keep saying something about private or something they want with me. Private this, private whatever. And I'm saying, what is private?
Well,
They keep saying, if we go private, will you get it out? And I'm like, what is it? And what is private?
yeah,
And surely they're not asking me to get.
they most certainly are asking for things like that. Yes, indeed, sir.
What's happened, Brad? What's happened?
No, but that's just normal, mate. That's just normal. That's
No,
just normal.
listen,
But
I'm just joking with him. He knows I'm joking. I'm only OnlyFans. Anyone who sees this, but I don't really use it that much. I don't know what to do on there. I can't. I try and make music on there. I cook on there, but
yeah.
I'm a bloke. No one wants to see an ugly guy just cooking some chicken, do they?
Well, there's actually a load of people that would want to see that, but it's not women, it's men. Like, so that's the thing. Like, this is the thing. And I'll say this to anyone out there: if you're willing to, as a man, if you're willing to do OnlyFans, don't think you're going to be loads of women coming to pay you. It's going to
Right.
be men paying you. It's going to be men
Oh,
paying you.
right. Okay, my mate. Have you seen the guy who comes on our show, the boxer, Chris Truman?
Yeah.
Mate, he does this thing where he goes in his cold bath on the morning and he's trying to take it on OnlyFans, but he
Yeah.
says when he's doing it on Instagram, bro, it's all blokes that are commenting.
That's
He's got a Corey on him, hasn't he?
men pay the bills, mate. Men's pay the bills. Women don't pay for OnlyFans. Like, it's a
But would
very
that
small
sacrifice? Would you say if you was doing that sort of thing? Would you see that as a sacrifice as your own dignity to do that?
uh, for sure. Otherwise, I'll be doing it right now. I know I know how to make money on OnlyFans. I like for like if I was doing it, I done a video the other day of me rubbing my beard. And some guy asked me, "Do you rub it on your downstairs department as well, oil?" I was like, "What?" It's literally on one of my comments, like literally. So literally, and yeah, the market's there, but it's not for women. So if you're willing to sacrifice your dignity, like then yeah.
Yeah, but then when you do that, do you have to do stuff like what? Can't I just cook some chicken, or did I have to?
No, you could do whatever you wanted, mate. It's your
Surely, like cooking some chicken is not sacrificing your dignity,
no,
right?
no, for sure. But I think like I'll give anyone the blueprint. Anyone that like this will be a video. Any guy that wants to make money on OnlyFans, the first step, set your OnlyFans up. Second step, set up an Instagram profile. Third step, come up with a daily reel. A daily reel. If you're in good shape. If you're in good shape, I would say probably get into your boxers and come up with a 15-second video every day of rubbing oil into your arms, oil into your quads, and post your OnlyFans link. If you do 3 videos a day if you do 3 videos a day a year, by the end of the year, you'll be making 30 grand a year minimum from OnlyFans. That's just the people subscribing to your page. And that's trust me, any guy. And the more distinctive your figure is, even if you're in really bad shape, there's a market for it. The more taboo you look, the easier it is for you. So guys, if you want to make £30,000 a year, that is the blueprint. Anyone can do it. And if anyone needs any help doing it, I can help you on that process.
Yeah, he will do the bit on the video for you, and you can.
No, my business obviously people get lost on the site. They struggle with the site on OnlyFans. So tech guys like me know how to maneuver the sites, know how to do certain bits. It's not hard once you get rolling, but
I'm not sure how I would feel about that though, Brad.
so how do you feel about doing like a 15-second daily video of you in your underpants cooking chicken?
If you want to see my body, you've got to pay off the bat. You can't just see it. Yeah. And I don't think there's many people out there that can afford my body just to
Fair
get
enough.
my kit off.
Fair enough.
Male or
Someone might watch this. Some guy's probably watching this, be like, "Yeah." He's probably
Yeah,
eating some
you
chicken
can't.
right now. He's like, "Yeah, I'm subscribing to your OnlyFans." He's like, "Look, okay, I want you to do." No, let me ask you a question. Actually, let me put this to you. Okay, so you've got an
You're funny,
OnlyFans
man.
page. You've got an OnlyFans page right now, and some guy sends you a message and says to you, "Right, I'm gonna give you £1,000 right now for you to strip down to your underpants and sit there on the sofa with your legs wide open, eating chicken with a hard on." What would you say to him?
I say,
£1,000.
say, I beg your pardon. I'd say, I beg your pardon. That would be my first comment, right? I mean, 1,000. No, you'd have to put a zero on that to get me in my pants, and then for the extra bit that you said after that, then that's another 5,000 as well.
I think the thing about it is though,
They can't afford me, mate.
no, no, yeah,
There's
I
no
hear that.
women out there that can actually afford to get my kit off.
Yeah,
I'm
but
telling you, bro.
you know, the difference is there are like, you know, you're okay, you're not providing it for anyone, but if there's a
Yeah,
guy out,
exactly.
if there's a guy
You're
out there,
desperate, desperate. Yeah,
this is
yeah,
where the respect
yeah,
element
yeah, yeah.
comes in for me. Like, you know, if there's like, you know, if there's is a situation where there's no food in the house and you've got
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
kids and
Yeah.
someone offers you £1,000 to do that sort of video, are you a bad dad or a good dad if you choose to either let your kids starve for a couple of days or go hungry for a day, or
I
are you a
mean,
good dad? Let me ask put
yeah,
that question to you, because
really good question. Yeah,
this is what people need to understand is when women say that they do this and they've got kids. So
yeah.
let's put that to you. So you've
Well,
got
I've
no
got no
food in the
kids.
house
Yeah,
and
but
someone
if I
says,
have, yeah. But if I'm in that situation, yeah. I mean, I don't think I would, because I'd be thinking about those kids when they were older, thinking, well, say when they're 18 or something, and they go, "Is that your old man? Sat there on that couch eating that chicken there? Is that your old man?"
yeah,
Right? Now, it happened to a friend of ours when we were younger. Like they had a baker day, all the kids from the grammar school, and they found this video in one of the sheds.
yep,
They stuck this video on like you do when you're young.
yep,
It was one of the lads' dads,
okay,
right? And he didn't forget that. He did
yep,
not forget that for many, many years. It was his old man. And
yep,
let's just say his old man was a very normal looking guy as well.
yep,
And I don't want to say too much about it because people will know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
But I don't know, bro. I don't think
Mate,
I would.
this is social.
Would you? Would you?
Most likely would, 100%, probably would if if I was in that situation, I probably would, to be honest with you. Like, I can't lie. And let's just put it this way as well.
But
Like,
is
you
there
could
no
just
other ways to get that money though? Is
no,
there no
no,
other way?
I know, but that was just a hypothetical argument. Like, that was just hypothetical, like, but I'm just saying that, like, even now, there's videos of people half naked doing stupid things, jumping in a pool half
Of
naked.
course, yeah.
Like, there's videos like that all over. And, is it, probably everyone, there's probably a compromising video of them somewhere doing something. Like, everyone probably at some point, you got to be careful of it in this day and age, because obviously it can get pushed around. But that's the kind of argument I like to put to people when they say certain things about women and their kids that do OnlyFans.
I mean, it's up to them, isn't it, bro? It's their body, and it's up to them what they do with it, and they have to obviously take the consequences. But personally, I have nothing against people that just for the sake of them doing a job. Like, I think it's difficult to judge a person. Number one, just judge a person, and number two, judge them on what they do if you don't know them. I don't know their situations. And like you said, Brad, you've always spoken very highly of the people you work with. And ever since I've met you, you've only ever spoken about, apart from one or two, like how hard working some of them are. Some of them are, you said,
Yeah.
how decent they are to work with, trustworthy and all this sort of stuff. I mean, these are all the characteristics that you look for in people. Just because someone gets their kit off on OnlyFans, is that it? Are they a write-off? I don't think so, mate. I mean, they're also you're only young once as well, Brad. Is that an argument? And young, good-looking women are celebrated, mate. Good-looking women with nice bodies are celebrated, and rightly so. And what's wrong with that? Like,
Unfortunately, at the minute as well, even that's a little taboo, because you would think that it's the most beautiful girls ever that make the money on OnlyFans. It's actually not. It's actually It's actually women that look totally different. Like, I know I was speaking to you the other day about the women that were using a Down syndrome filter to make hundreds of thousands of
yes,
pounds.
you did mention that, yeah.
About to make hundreds of thousands of pounds. Like, what does that say about the men out there? That men are actually looking for women that have Down syndrome that do OnlyFans. Like, but
that's very weird. Very weird.
That's just it's the more different you look. Like, people are fed up of the taboo.
Yeah, but that's like an illness. It's like as a
the Down syndrome is disability anyway. Yeah,
that's what I meant. Sorry, not an illness, a disability. That's what I meant. Like is an unfortunate disability on someone. So to think people are lusting after that, I don't know how to feel about that, Brad, to be honest with you.
Yes, and all sorts of things. Like, for me, I've never understand the men with these feet fetishes. Like,
Mate,
go absolutely crazy. Like, some of the honestly, some of the things I've seen, like some of these, I don't know what's wrong with men. Like, they're obsessed with feet and stuff. I'm just like, oh man.
If a girl said to put her stinking feet in my face, I'd be like, get your dirty toes away from me now.
Mate, yeah.
Get your dirty toes, unless they were clean feet, mate.
Yeah.
Get out of here, mate. I
Yeah.
know there's fetishes for it, but I find it strange, mate. They start going crazy over some toes, and you think, mate, are you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah.
Some toes.
For real. And men in met some of these gentlemen that use the sites, like they are some of them are way gone. To be honest with you, some
But
of them
when,
are way gone.
what else? Like this is, I don't want to sort of get us in trouble, but would you? Is there anything sort of else strange that might be interesting here? Because I know toes is fairly normal because I've heard that before, right?
I had a story of a girl that was offered she was offered I think she was offered £300 to shit in a bag and send it to a man, and she shitted in the bag and sent it to the man, and then he sent her a video of him eating it. Yeah, literally. She said and like she said that he was like like bloodlusted, like eating it like
Oh, stop it, please! All round his cake hole.
literally,
Is it all round his cake hole?
literally, bro, literally.
Oh,
So yeah, some of
viewers,
these
did you hear that?
yeah some gentlemen
Oh,
are yeah
viewers,
yeah
did you hear that?
and it probably goes worse. Like it probably goes a lot worse. Obviously, there's a legal
That
limit to
is
what you
just.
could.
That is just. Sorry, mate. I just let just let that pass, bruv.
Mm,
That is unbelievable. So
mm.
someone paid £300 for that,
Yeah, someone paid £300 for some human poop. She said she went
mate.
to the post office. She got it delivered first class.
Mate, I would have gone
And
second class, mate, for that. First class.
literally, do you know what's quite funny as well? She
Oh,
went to the
sorry, bro,
do you know,
postman scat.
she went to the post office, and one of the postman, obviously the guy behind the counter, said, "What's in it?" And she just went, "Oh, just some shit." And he was like, "Oh, okay, just some normal shit from around the house." She was like, "Yeah, just some normal shit around the house." And then, yeah,
Did that not? If that, see, that would psychologically affect me. Yeah,
what seeing that?
mate. I think that's worse than sitting. I don't even know if that's worse than sitting there eating a chicken. Like sending that out.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
So,
surely that's got to be dignified. Like that's your dignity's gone a bit there in it if you're doing that in a bag and you. But then £300. I mean, if someone said to you, "Would you go to the bathroom in this bag for 300 notes?" Would you? Oh, I'm sorry to ask you, bro. Sorry, mate.
to be honest with you, I mean,
It's
I
shocking.
think for me personally, I'd have to be very desperate to do that. Like, I'd have to be desperate for the money. I'd have to be like borderline desperate. But no, like no, like that's like £1 million question. Like would you do it for £1 million? Like, that's £1 million question
Even
for
a
me.
million would be a tough ask, wouldn't it?
No, I think most people in this day and
I
age,
know.
mate,
Well, just to do it in a bag, I suppose you'd probably take a million.
yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, most people in this day and age, you ask them to take a shit in a bag, and you offer them £1 million.
yeah,
This is the biasness and the two-facedness of the judgment of people that have views on OnlyFans. So, like, if I said to the average woman right now, "Here's £1 million up front. You have to do OnlyFans for 5 years." How many women are going to turn that money down?
none of them will.
Exactly. I mean, the people. Some might. There are women that might turn it down. There are women that
Not many. Yeah,
categorically.
yeah.
There are women out there, but most women are gonna have that £1 million off your hands before you've even had a chance to say snap, crackle, and pop. Like literally that money's gone. So that's the thing. If you put that argument to most women, they'll take the £1 million and they'll drive off into the sunset.
You could say that about anything, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, if I said to you, "You're going to get £1 million
Mm,
in 1 year from today, Brud," right? The 11th of June, 2026, you get £1 million if you can do 100 break on a snooker table,
mm,
right? So you got to do a break of 100. Let's make it easier. A break of 60 on a snooker table, right? You get to break off on the snooker table.
yep.
You've got to do a break of 60. If you can do a break of 60 in a year's time from now, you get, I don't know, 500 grand.
Yep.
Just one break of 60. You get to break off. You're not playing against anyone. You're going to go red, black, red, blue, whatever you're going to do,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep.
How many blokes would freaking start practicing snooker given that opportunity hardcore,
Yeah. A thousand
knowing
percent. Everyone,
knowing full well that a
everyone.
million
Yeah.
pound is coming if you can simply get a 60 break,
Yeah.
right?
Everyone's gonna do that.
And I think a lot of people would be able to do a 60 break at the end of that year, knowing that that is coming. So what you're trying to say there, I think, is the same thing. Is if people know that the money's coming, it's a lot easier to do
Yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Slightly different in terms the way you obviously the point of view in terms of the money and working for something is obviously the same, but obviously being good at sports. There's no
Yeah,
negative.
you can't.
There's no downside to that. I mean, you
No,
go into a pool table
yeah,
a
yeah,
pool
yeah.
club
That's
you
right.
buy a snooker table and you
Yeah,
train every day. It's a
yeah,
bit
yeah.
different. It's a bit different to someone picking up a dildo and going, like, you know.
Well, the cues. No, no, no. Let's not go there.
Yeah, I mean, but the way these women are being propositioned, it's not just one person sending them these messages. In some cases, it's 1,000 men saying, "Do this video, and I'll give you £300." That's when it starts adding up in their head, sort of thing. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's the hard work aspect. It's a lot. Trust me, it's a lot harder now. But if you've got some sort of following, if you've got some sort of following and you're open, proud, and you're out, there's no limitations. I want to make money. I want to do my OnlyFans. Boom, you're gonna do okay if you just put the work in, 100%. But a lot of women, they don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. They don't want to share it on their socials. They don't want this person to know. That's when it becomes more difficult and it becomes a longer ride. But the
Why are they
women,
ashamed of it though? Like, why? Do you know any women that are ashamed of what they do on OnlyFans, Brad? Let me just put
okay,
the cards on the table.
I would say, purely on the basis of that, when you think about it, that most women aren't in the top 3% that make 4 grand a month. There's a lot of women that not are ashamed, but certainly not 100% proud of what they're doing. Like, because you have to think about it, most women are going to set up OnlyFans and then they're going to stop. And most women are going to set up OnlyFans, do videos, do compromising videos, and get disheartened after sometimes most of the time it's after 2 or 3 months they get disheartened. They've not made money straight away. They'll get disheartened, and then they've already sold, maybe they've already sold 5 or 6 videos of them doing some sort of crazy stuff, and they feel hurt by it, they feel let down by it, and they feel like, imagine how you feel useless, like, a
Like
lot
you've
of
given
women.
up your body for nothing.
Yeah, basically, a lot of women do feel like that because they give up on the journey, because obviously they can't take the sort of knocks and stuff. And
Is it sex working? Would you class it as sex working,
yeah,
Brad?
it's 1,000% sex work. That's what it is. Any sort of nudity for money is sex work. It's actually classed as prostitution, to be honest with you.
What
Any
is
sort
what even
um
OnlyFans?
o- the definition of prostitution is, even if you sell a picture of if you sell a nude, that is classed as
Okay,
prostitution.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, by the definition of prostitution, that's what it's classed as, to be honest. Even if you sell a picture, that's
Do you think it?
prostitution.
Did you think it's? I'm really delving in now. Sorry to ask you so many questions, but it's such an interesting job you do. Do you think you touched on it before? Is there a psychological damage element to all this?
For the women doing it,
Yeah.
I feel like you need I feel like you need someone to sort of, you do need, you can't do this on your own. I
No,
don't think you can
no
do it on
way.
your own.
No
I
way.
don't think you can do it on your own. You need a team. You need someone talking to you. You need someone coaching you, and you also need someone to hold you back. You need someone that will say to you, "Don't do that," because you might regret that. Like, like, I'm very hesitant when women come to me and they say, "Should I do this? Should I do that?" I'm like, "Wait a minute. I want to make sure you're making money before you start doing anything crazy. If you're not making money, then I would say, no, don't do one crazy video. You know?
Brad, say if one of these girls on my OnlyFans, they said, "Right, Nick, can you just take off your t-shirt really slowly
Yeah.
and send me the video, and I'll give you £200 or whatever." Who gets the video, and
Yeah.
what format is that video in?
Well, literally, if that process is very simple, you make the video on your phone, and then you upload it to the OnlyFans website, and then you send it to the person, and you
Can
send it to.
everyone see it? Can everyone
No, no,
see it?
no, no, no. It's only this is the thing as well. What people don't understand about OnlyFans and stuff is, when you make a private video for someone, or when you make a private video for someone and you send it, like, so for instance, you could have 100 fans, and one of those fans is Brudsy, and Brudsy says, "Okay, I want to see a picture of you
Yeah,
taking a video of you taking your top off."
yeah.
You make the video, you send it to me, you price tag it, so I have to buy it before I open it, and I own that vid. I now own that video of you doing
But
whatever
can
you've
you
done.
download that video?
Not legally, no. There's always a way of doing it, and TikTok OnlyFans have made it harder with their website, because you used to be able to screen record stuff like that.
You can't now.
You can't now, no. So you obviously there's the option where they can use their phone and record the screen. There's always that option, but it's it's not going to be clear. But that's a crime. This is what people don't understand. This is what people don't understand of it. If someone takes an image and distributes it or shares it, everything can be traced. Everything's on
Yeah,
a mobile.
yeah.
everything's on a mobile. Everything can be traced. You can be sued. You can be sent to
But that still
prison.
doesn't stop the dig.
No, no. In my experience, anyone that buys a private video is probably going to keep that video.
Yeah, and also if could someone use it against one of those girls? Let's say if someone was trying
They
to,
do. They
yeah,
do.
yeah,
This is something that girls need
pretend
to worry about.
pretend to be someone and then get a video and then go make their
Bribe
life
them, bribe them. Yeah, they do.
hell. Yeah.
They do. That's happened to me a lot. I've had to help a lot. I've had to. I've had to phone. I've had to make phone calls and phone people up and say to them, "Like, sort it out." Like, really put it on a few people because they've taken videos of girls and they've said to the girl, "Oh, I'm gonna send this to your mum if you don't meet me up or you don't do this X Y
Oh,
Z."
mate.
And I've had to phone. I've had to phone certain people up and say, you know what, you might not want to do that. Like, and I've had to do that for a few people. But sometimes girls don't have anyone. Like sometimes girls so, like this poor like so for instance, I don't be too graphic, but this quite young girl, she was asking me for advice and stuff, and I've always got time for people and help them. And there was one of those dildo things that was about this big, like let's just say that,
Right.
and like just this big, like let's just say literally this big, and she was like, I physically can't, what with it, and that means I can't do OnlyFans anymore. And I was like, what on earth made you think you have to be able to do something like that to do OnlyFans? And she's like, oh, I saw this girl doing it on thing, and I thought that's what you have to do. So, like, as much as I don't want to work with young people, sometimes I feel to myself, I've got to help, I've got to try and save some of these people from doing things that are going to destroy themselves, like, because there's a very, like, that you can stay on a very fine margin, like where it's bikini pictures, where it's classy and stuff like that, and make a lot of money that way. Like, women are posting selfie. Like, you just go on Instagram, you see what women are posting just on a day-to-day basis. You could literally sell that on OnlyFans. What you're doing, like I see some girls' Instagrams, I see it, and I'm like, I could, if I would that's that there. What you're doing is worthy of a $10 a month subscription, and you would have thousands of fans paying you to do it. So
So is in a way then has OnlyFans replaced the porno mag as well?
it's OnlyFans has, well, I think there's old school. There's always, like, magazines. That everyone's got niches and stuff like that, and some people have still got their niche. They like their magazines, whatever. But what OnlyFans was designed to do was to take the power away from the porn studios
Yeah, 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 yeah,
and give the power directly to the creators so they can
yeah.
make their own money. They have to give OnlyFans 20%, and they're in full control of their content. There's a lot of bitter women that have done porn in their lifetime, and let me just tell you the difference between porn and OnlyFans is, for instance, I say to you, all right, I'm going to give you £1,000 and you're going to do a shoot with these two girls. You do the shoot, I give you £1,000. I now own that content in perpetuity. That means forever. Forever and ever and ever. You've only been paid £1,000 for it up front. You don't even own the rights to it. You're not going to make a dime off it. I can now spread that all over the internet. My kids are going to eat. My grandchildren, they're going to keep that forever. So that's the difference of it. Like, so when people say OnlyFans is forever and blah blah blah, like, you can't distribute, like, it's illegal. It's classed as what's it called again? Do you know what's it called when you distribute content for and try and for it's a big thing at the minute. What's it called? I can't remember. When you release images of people, like, I think it's when people, I can't
Yeah,
remember
you
what it's
shouldn't
called.
do it. Even when you use things like that to threaten people, it's very very
No,
bad.
no, you got to be a bad person to do
Yeah,
that.
well, even threatening someone with a DM that they trusted you with is bad enough. Let
Yeah,
alone
of
a freaking
course.
picture with your legs open. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, and the sad thing is, people do spread these things.
Yeah, they do.
Unfortunately, especially men. Like men, they like
Oh, have you seen
trophies.
this? Have you seen this?
Yeah, literally. So girls have got to be careful with it. But ultimately, they do have a lot. Like, officially, they can't be put on any sites. Like,
Mate, I'm really
men.
worried for them now. Like, since this is a very eye-opening conversation, brother. You've given us today a very good insight into this OnlyFans, and I tell you what, I'm a bit worried for some of them.
Yeah, most of them. If the one, and there's loads of rabbit holes that they can go down. So a big thing at the minute is most girls I know that have start like there's a lot of girls that start OnlyFans, and they don't necessarily know what they're doing straight away, and they're gonna get like the moment a girl sets up their OnlyFans, she's gonna get 1,000 DMs a day of men saying, "Oh, let's make collaborations, let's do videos, let's do content," and the girl thinks, "Oh, okay, he's a nice looking guy, I'll do content with him," and sometimes they sell the relationship. Most of the time, I think they sell the relationship with them. Some girls you don't. Some girls about their money you don't. It's just a collaboration, and they're happy just to use you in a video. You can sell it on your page, she can sell it on her
Yeah,
page.
yeah, yeah.
Most are happy, but a lot of them fall victim to a guy that says, "Oh yeah, I'm going to make content with you," and he just wants to go there. He just bangs them and done. Or even, for instance, like social media is full of shit. You can't believe anything you see on social media in terms of views and numbers. Everything is manipulated. So there's a big business at the minute is setting up a Instagram account, buying 1,000 followers, buying 100,000 followers, posting loads of pictures of all these beautiful women, and then other girls see it and they think, "Oh, let me get a feature on that freaking thing." And women are paying men money for bots basically to get promoted on the sites. And then what normally happens is
Mm.
the guys hit them up and say to them, let me let come over and we'll do a photo shoot.
Well, Brad, what you're making me think as well is, will there be an oversupply of good-looking women? Right?
Um,
Because I personally, I don't know whether it's I'm getting older or women are getting better looking, but it's one of the two. Yeah. Whether they go to the gym a little bit more than when
oh
they were
yeah,
younger, whether
for
they look
sure.
after them, whether there's more pressure because of things like Instagram to perhaps stay in slightly better shape than what they used to. But I think women, to me, are prettier than ever, right? That's without talking
Yeah,
about
I think that's
to look at, right?
the advancements of hairstyles, makeup, and all that sort, and even clothes. The way
Yeah,
clothes are designed to fit women now,
yeah,
like
that's right.
even bigger women, like the way bigger women can put certain types of leggings on and they look fire, bro. They'll look
When
fire.
they're all going in the tanning shops over there,
Mm.
and I see them now, right? When I was younger, there was no such thing as those lips,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, lips as well.
Now I keep seeing those lips.
Are you a fan of them?
I don't think I like them.
So I think there's a fine. I think there's a margin. Obviously, and the thing about it is you have to think about it. Like you can't deny from a if like when the blood's up and you see certain things, it kind of looks great at some stages. But would you want to see it every day? Like,
Are they mentally ill sometimes? I think when they ruin their own faces,
oh yeah, that's
right?
in a way that's where they've
They've
taken
seen it
the
on Instagram and they've
yeah.
seen someone get maybe a slightly professional job done, and they don't know where to stop. And I think I see a lot of women, Brad, who have cosmetic surgery because they can't be bothered to exercise and keep a nice ass, right? And they think that the duck lips will compensate for not having a very nice body. Well, I don't think it does. There's no need to ruin your face just because your body isn't quite what they want it to be. But I suppose to do some exercise and stuff would be a way to get
No,
around that.
yeah, I mean, I think slightly two different things there, two different procedures. There are women out there that laugh and joke about having gastric bands and having plastic surgery to lose weight, and there are those, and I think that would definitely apply to that in terms of the facial side of it and maybe boobs and butts and stuff like that. I think the butt thing is too much. Like don't get me wrong. Like I'm sure if you used to see that thing on one of those nights and see that, you'd probably turn into the Incredible Hulk or whatever. But I don't know whether you'd want to. Most of it sometimes is too big for me anyway. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Well,
some of the crazy stuff.
I like a nice hip to waist ratio, but I don't like a stupid hip to waist ratio. I like the hip to waist ratio of someone who looks like they exercise. And they've
But have you tried it and tested it though before you say you don't? You may not like the initial sort of like it's because it's a feeling. Oh, I don't necessarily like women too much, but have you actually seen it in front of your
Yeah, yeah.
face
I mean,
and thought,
yeah. I've been lucky enough to be in the situation where I've seen women with voluptuous bottoms, yes, and on more than one occasion.
hmm,
Um, I just, when they get older, will the size increase exponentially?
yeah,
There's that,
yeah, I
you've got
think,
to think about that.
yeah, yeah.
That's why I prefer personally, and I hope anyone doesn't get upset with this, but I like athletic women that exercise, and I like their hip to waist ratios.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, but that's
Yep.
Where
and
we're
and
all
they're,
like,
and they're all doing it. They're all out there doing their squats. Women are doing them.
yeah,
Women are about the
yeah.
squats now. Women ain't
But you're talking
playing.
about the injection as well, though. You're talking
The
about getting
filler.
or whatever
No,
it's
yeah, the
called. Yeah.
filler. Yeah, I'm talking like just like
Yeah, what will
uh,
happen when they're older, Brad? To that batty when they're say 20 years down.
no, it's because cosmetics, like once you start the process, it's an ongoing process. It's not just one. You're constant. I think you have to change it. I think like with fillers, I don't know. Fillers will move around anyway eventually, and you'll have to have adjustments
Oh,
done.
hold on. Did that blonde girl have the fillers? Is that what you were saying before?
Yeah, she had fillers. Yeah, 100 grams worth of fillers.
Oh, damn. Is it? I should have. Is it all right on like
She says that she's fine. She says that she's fine and stuff. I did say to her, "Isn't that dangerous?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's dangerous and stuff." But but she was yeah, she was. She said that she's fine.
Do you like
Like
it, Brad? Do you like it?
I haven't seen it. Well, to be fair, I don't know.
Generally, do you like it? Generally.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't be a hypocrite, I can't be a hypocrite, And I feel like it's very easy saying it, because obviously there's men are gonna look at it and they're gonna see women that they can't have and they can't sleep with, that they will never get a chance with, and those are the kind of men that can't have a lot to say. But when things are reality, I feel like sometimes choices are different. Because it's very easy looking at a woman like that and saying she's plastic, she's a bimbo, and knowing that you ain't ever gonna get a chance. But for guys that maybe do have a chance, and maybe get to
I
see certain
reckon
things,
most blokes would, given the opportunity, they would.
mate,
They
they'd
would.
tear it to pieces on a night out, on a night on a
Well,
like,
I didn't want to put it like, but
mate, they tear it to pieces. I'm not. Let's just not bullshit. All these men out there that say they don't like women that do,
no,
they don't
but
like women that do surgery and don't like doing this, don't like doing that.
no. That's,
Men are at the minute. If you see what men are doing,
I mean,
you know,
she could talk me out of it just by talking, but just on physicality, she would actually be in with me. Like, really,
bro,
I mean it.
you'd be like a kid with an ice cream. You'd be sat there, ah!
Nah, not me, mate. Not me.
You'd be like a kid with an ice cream, like, psh, psh, psh.
Nah,
Yeah.
not me, mate.
Just sitting there squishing that thing.
Nah, not me.
What are your thoughts on silicone boobs, fake boobs?
I don't know, Brad. I mean, I just worry about women a little bit with their cosmetics and that generally.
No, obviously there's that element, but what are your because a lot of men say they like natural boobs, but
I think they feel a bit funny, Brad.
they feel funny, do they?
Yeah, man. They feel a bit funny.
Hmm.
I like, if it's all right with everyone, I do prefer real breasts.
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
mate, look at me giggling because I said breasts.
Yeah.
Now, what about you, brother? Can I ask the same question back? I mean, they can look nice, but what do you think of them? And the scarring and all that sort of stuff.
Um. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know.
You wouldn't complain, would you, if you had nice
I
boobs?
don't. I don't think men. I don't think men are good. I don't think that's. I don't think that's a deal breaker.
No.
Obviously, there's obviously from the safety element, you'd worry about someone that you generally care about having all sorts of
Yeah.
procedures, and that's just the truth of it. If you really cared about someone and you care about a partner, and they said to you they want to get boobs done and stuff, you'd think about yes, you might be thinking selfishly, oh yeah, I'd love to see my missus with lovely big boobs or whatever, but you might think to yourself, well, wait a minute, what about the health thing? And
What
then
about when they're older as well? Does
yeah,
it?
yeah. No, don't get me wrong. If money isn't an object and it's not expensive as it used to be anymore, like most women can pay 70 quid a month, and if they've got decent credit, they can see boobs or they can get their boobs done every 5 years or whatever. It's not like a major amount of money. And with the as technology develops over the years, it's becoming more realistic and realistic. So you just, mate, I've seen loads of women that I've interviewed and stuff like that. I've had all these procedures and they look fine to me.
Yeah, but when they're older though, like when they're sort of 50, 60 and 70, do you think it will look a certain way, or do you think all the lips, those ones where they get the big ones, like
Yeah.
they look all right when they're older? Do you think?
Well, to be very fair, I'll say it again, mate. The procedures at the minute, we're seeing and some of the things, and the women. I don't know if you've seen these women that have had these facelifts where they literally they do that. No, it's not. Yes, a facelift where it's just like I see this woman with like a massive chin, or some women you see. I've seen both. I've seen women with massive chins, and they have this facelift, and they look. It just looks normal now. Like it looks like they're a young woman, like even half their age. And I've seen them, and then I've seen the women that are quite fat faces, hanging faces, and have the things done. And the things that you can do with cosmetic surgery now, and it's only going to get better and better as we go on. People ain't aging gracefully, there's 70-year-old women models now where let me just quickly pull a model up quickly. Um,
Mate, this has been a bloody interesting conversation, brother. I've got to say because of wow, I'm a naive on a lot of these things. I don't know what's going on, mate, with all this. I've learned a lot about these Sony fans today. Really interesting, by the way. I don't think a lot of people really truly understand
yeah.
the inner workings of something like that, and I think you've given us a very, very good depiction today, and a lot of food for thought, by the way.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, some of the things you've said today, Brad.
Yeah, and there's loads of there's loads of career opportunities for men that want to make money from this industry and not necessarily have to get their kit off and stuff. I am walking testament to that. You can literally make money from helping people, doing the right thing. And one of the things I always get tarred with, is people call you a digital pimp and stuff like that. The pimp analogy always comes out oh, you're pimping all these women and blah blah blah. And it's if anyone actually knew the workings around OnlyFans, they'd know it's totally not like that. The women have the control. My job, your job as an OnlyFans manager should be to help the women and assist them, be there for them. You're borderline like their husband, almost like their side husband sort of thing, in the sense that you're talking to them because you're having real
Well,
conversations with people, you're trying to help them through things. Might have
husband,
people that have bad days.
husband.
Yeah, I literally class it. I used to class it like that.
Isn't pimp the word you're looking for?
Nah, no way, no way, no way.
But you
It's
see
totally
yourself
different.
as more of a husband than a pimp, yeah?
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. And the thing about it is, until you spend some time so you spend if you used to see the day to day of what someone does as an OnlyFans manager and stuff, you would totally understand and see it's nothing like that. It's more of a you're more of a PA.
Yeah,
It's
but
more of a PA.
don't you think husband's a bit of a big shout? Don't you think a lot of them would have a little bit to
Well,
say about you
no,
saying that?
no, no, no. But I don't mean it literally. I just mean it in the sense, in the sense of caring. Like, I don't just work with people and not care about their well-being and stuff like that. So there's more. If I said it was my bitch, as some men, it would be very popular for some men to start bragging about managing OnlyFans girls and saying, yeah, these are my bitches. But they don't necessarily care about the women that they're looking after. So the fact that I'm saying that, my job is to look after them in all sorts of ways,
Well,
just yeah.
people will ask if I'm not asking, but people will ask, is what you're doing the same as Andrew Tate
Uh,
has been accused of, or whatever he's supposed to have done?
this is the thing, and I've got to be very honest. The whole reason how I got into this industry was by watching what Andrew Tate was doing in the early stages, and he was bragging about making money with girls on OnlyFans and stuff like that. The difference is Andrew Tate was manipulating these women. He was he had them in houses, he had them doing all this cam stuff, and he had 15-year-old girls doing this kind of shit. 15-year-old girls doing it.
See, this is why you get banned on social media because you say stuff like that,
No,
man.
I won't. I won't even be able to. I won't anything to do with Andrew Tate. I won't even be able to put anywhere
No,
near TikTok.
I'm talking about saying about that age group. You
Oh,
shouldn't say
yeah,
things.
no, no, no. But that's and like I said to you before, when people talk about Andrew Tate, any gripes that I've had with him, that's the only thing I can really throw out there that I know for fact, because there is video of him with a 15-year-old girl and doing madness, So there's a lot of people come for me when I talk about Andrew Tate. I'm like, you can't argue that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the internet algorithms will go for you because of what you've just said. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Well, certain platforms
But
will,
if you'd have said minors, that
Yeah.
would have been okay. But because
Yeah.
of you said that, you
Yeah.
won't be okay.
Yeah, that's the joys of
So,
editing.
that's it.
Joys of editing videos. Anyway, joys of editing
Yeah, but
videos.
you're live, you Wally.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna I don't get views from my as many views from my lives. Like, most of my views come from YouTube Shorts, so I'll be fine in that aspect because I'll just put out what I want to put out.
Algorithms, he meant minor. That's all he meant. He was innocent.
Yeah,
That's
and
either way,
yeah,
Brad.
but that was the point anyway.
All
Yeah,
algorithm jokes aside, it's disgusting. Yeah, and
yeah,
you're talking to someone who spent a lot of my years teaching young people in
Yeah,
schools,
yeah.
and I find all them things very, 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 very disgusting.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And that was my only gripe that I ever had with him. And he bragged like he was doing he was manipulating them via taxes, like via management contracts. Like I think the girls were ending up getting 30% of their money. Like 30% of everything they were doing, they were probably getting 30% of their money. It was a lot of money, but 30% they like he was manipulating them like a little bit, and I get 30% of what I make from girls, and they make 70%. Like so they make the bulk of their money. They're in full control of it, and my job is just to help them on a day to day. And it's stressful. Like, people think it's easy. It's stressful sometimes. Like it's stressful. It's hard. It's not easy. It's a grind, and then most people don't want to work. Most people don't want to work. Your job is to inspire every day. Like phone up. Oh, how you doing? You're right. How's everything going? Like you have to inspire every day because like, it's hard because most people they've got a goal, they've got a vision, they like the thought of being successful, but they don't know what's required to be successful. Like, they've never sort of commit, like, even like committing, like, you'd think, like, okay, if you make 3 videos a day, you find your niche, you make your 3 videos a day, we distribute them all three different times a day, and that's it. Most people can't even do 3 videos a day. That's the honesty of it, and it requires you can get it gets frustrating, but you just have to be there for them and try and help them, try and motivate them. Like it's a lot of talking, a lot
What
of motivating.
motivate them to do like
No,
sexual
no,
things,
to do the
work,
reels, to do the reels, like it's
like,
most
the Instagram and all that
the
sort of stuff.
Instagram reels. That's 90% of this job, because if
So
you don't
yeah, you're
promote
trying to
your
get them
link,
through the door, aren't you?
yeah, if you don't promote your link, you don't what
You
you
don't
don't
make money.
you don't make money. No one's coming to your page. I mean,
But
you
why is
will.
that so hard for them to take a picture that doesn't even include
A
taking their
normal
clothes
picture.
off?
It just unfortunately there is an element of people that do this because they think it's easy,
Yeah.
and then what most people realize is that it's not easy. It can be easy. It can be very easy if you. It's a mentality thing. It can be very easy if you just see it as a business. Then I'm doing this. I need to do that. I need to do this. And the women that do are very successful. Like
Do you think
very.
they? Do you think I'm sure some of the viewers will wonder if any of the women actually get turned on by their jobs.
Some do. And the ones that, and let me just say this: a lot of men know when women are faking. So a lot of men know when women are faking. So when men see something where they feel like a woman is enjoying what she's doing, they enjoy themselves more, which means they stay longer, and obviously they spend more money, and the woman makes more money, and that's something to put out there as well. Like, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, and men can tell when you're faking.
And also, how similar is this to a peephole?
In what sense?
Well, a peephole. Should we explain to the people what a peephole is? Shall we?
No, but in what sense? Like, how are you comparing it? Sorry.
Well, a peephole.
Yeah, I know what a peephole is. I feel like most people know what a peephole is, but what do you mean by that in terms of?
Well, I just want to explain to people what a peephole is, then, just so everyone knows.
Okay.
Right? This is something that happens in Soho in London.
Mm.
We used to go up there when we were younger, not to the peepholes, but when we used to mess around in Soho and all them places when we was younger, in Chinatown and all that, just off Gerrard Street,
Mm.
you could see all these things called peepholes, viewers. And what peephole is you put money, like £1 or £2, into this thing,
Okay. Okay.
and then this hole opens, and then each person that uses the peephole will have a small booth, right, viewers? And I'm really sorry about this, viewers, but
Yeah.
within these booths are a box of tissues.
Okay. Okay. So what is it like? Is it like a real? Is it real? I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
Oh,
about.
yeah. Sorry. The crucial detail is there's a real person or couples or
Oh, okay,
there's
I didn't
people
know
in
that.
there. Yeah.
I didn't know about that. I
Yeah.
just thought you meant like someone that's done a hole in a wall and just looking through sort of thing. I didn't know about
No,
like.
I think there's something like a glory hole
Yes, I know.
and
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
peephole. I think there's different. Like the
How
peephole
do you
is
know about all these holes people can be asking, bro?
because I had to bloody look up because I'm too naive, mate, and I need to know. I know what's going on.
You sure there's no video? You sure there's no
No,
videos of you looking in through
no,
any
that's it.
peepholes?
I emptied my bank account, and the bank manager needed to know.
I
But
don't want
yeah,
to see any. I don't want to see Nicky New holding his chicken and sticking it through peepholes.
yeah, there'll be none of that, mate. But
Oh Lord.
you know, you wonder, like what you're talking about there, is it a modern day a peephole?
In
sort
that
of.
sense, exactly that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
exactly that. Obviously,
what sounds
some,
like, yeah.
obviously, yeah, exactly that. Sometimes it's not live. I feel like lives are slightly different. Like they're slightly different. There is a live feature to go live on OnlyFans
Is
where
it
you
more
can go.
expensive to go live?
No, it's free to go. You can go live. It's free. It's encourageable to go live. Most people, most creators should go live every day for about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, just saying hello, integrating with any fans that come in, and if any fans miss it, it's saved on the profile so they can see it later on. Most creators should do that. That's another thing that doesn't get done by most people as well.
What's the lifespan of a customer of an
Not
average?
not long, not long,
Yeah,
not long. Most men just want to come and have a peek. And I've had one lady that came on, and this is where morality and stuff starts to get in play. I had one girl that came on. She said that her biggest customer was an uncle.
Oh my, oh my life! I don't even freaking believe what you've just said to me. Don't be silly, bro. Get out of here.
Yeah,
No,
unfortunately,
no,
unfortunately,
no, no,
unfortunately,
no.
there is that. That's the kind of stuff that
Oh,
sort
I
of
say, mate. I'm so what he's going, mate. This is bad, man.
yeah, yeah. There is that side to it. Unfortunately, there is that side to it.
Uncle. I don't know what to say, Brad. I don't know what to say. I mean, that's
This
just
is
that's
di- this is
terrible.
the this
It's
is one of
terrible.
those. I speak to me and Kitty have our conversations all the time about certain bits, and unfortunately, you fat. Yeah, unfortunately, people think that it's some crazy guy running down the road that's going to assault someone. Unfortunately, most victims of all sorts of attacks know their attacker. It's family members or friends of the family. That's the unfortunate reality of life, and that can happen to anyone. And that is the reality. Women are getting attacked every single day, and they do get attacked every single day by family members and people that know them. People that know them.
You know something, Brad? I thought it was fair play of Kitty to speak up about women when we had that conversation last time. She really let loose in that conversation. I was watching it back, and can see why. I don't want to change the subject, but fair. I just wanted to say, like, while we're here and you brought her up, fair play for that. I was watching it, some of it back the other day. She went mad, didn't she?
Yeah, and she does normally tone it down a little bit as well. Believe it or not, like she won't ever go full flow. Like if she's on her own, she'll go full flow, but she won't ever normally go full flow like that. But yeah, but yes,
Mate,
sir.
not 90 minutes we've been on, Brad. And
Yeah.
you
Let's
know what?
wrap it. Let's wrap it. Let's wrap it, guys. This was a bro chat, first of
Yeah,
many. Loads of different topics thrown in there. And guys, any advice wanted, any advice needed? Like there's a lot of people struggling out there, and there's a lot of get rich quick schemes out there, and a lot of people will see, oh, make loads of money being the OnlyFans manager. You can for sure do it. You can for sure do it, and there's loads of aspects, and there's loads of different ways to make money if you need to make money doing these sort of things. And there's also a way of having your limitations as well, like so you don't compromise yourself and get yourself in a situation where it can just go downhill. But you're welcome to send me a DM, guys. And Nikki, thank you very much for joining me. We had a very enlightening conversation there.
loved it, man. Thank you very much, Brad. And just want to say to all the blokes out there that when you see these videos about these women intimidating you with about money and that, just don't let it get to you, man. Like you got to just not worry about it. Your time will come. Don't let it make you feel any sort of way, paranoid and all this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's no need to attack someone like that
Y-
as well,
Yeah,
Brad.
you don't. The anger,
Yeah,
the anger's not
yeah.
needed because
It's like the
the anger's making you bitter. Don't get yourself bitter. Like
what was her name, man? What was the girl's name again? Star, wasn't it?
the lovely star. Yeah.
A lovely Star. Yeah, mate. She wouldn't even. I'm too much scum for her, mate. You know,
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Like because
I can't afford her, mate. I can't afford to talk to her, but she
nah.
can afford to take me out. That's the good thing about it, Brad. Yeah,
Right. I'm gonna.
she's probably one of the few women that can probably afford me just about.
I'm gonna put
You
a
with that,
word in.
Star?
I'm gonna put a word in to see if
Go
we
on,
can get you. See if we can get you a date, bro. I'm gonna put a word
go
in to
on,
see if we can
mate.
get you a
It'll be
date.
a crap date because she'll be